Good morning. Thank you for the kind invitation to participate in this Congress, and to all the organizers and ministers that have participated in this fantastic event. I will use my slides just to map the three largest technological verticals that we have in the ministry in the province of Córdoba. We understand that they are the promises of added value for the wheat industry. So with this chart, Mr. Iglesias and Zanotti from Tandil, they represented back in 2014, right here on this chart that you see, the three stages: the primary production stage in green, the first transformation of the mills and in second place, and the third transformation planning. Each one of those stages, we had the opportunity to add value from the science and technology standpoint. Minister Abache said that in Córdoba we have two universities, INTA and INTI, space and atomic energy agencies. And in the case of the wheat industry, we already know that the instance where there is a grain, flour, and byproducts that are seasonal stages at the same time. We have seen this yesterday, and we've seen how the production has fluctuated according to the policies that we've had in the last 20 years. But there are things that are being done. Economists from IRAL, that they have presented a very interesting plan, which is that 1 ton of grain in the last 20 years equals 1.2 tons of flour, 2 in terms of pasta. So 1 ton of grain turns into 2, it's twice its value on average to pasta, and in cookies it's 5 times. So that idea is absolutely relevant in order to be able to put this graph together, and how important it is when we think about not exporting the commodity in grain itself, but to start producing pasta and cookies. In a PhD thesis from 2013, gives us a quick idea on how we go from primary production and how we can strengthen the added value in the primary and secondary processing. That PhD thesis was born here, and they set a very direct relationship between the genetic composition of the grain, both physical and chemical in the rest of the components in the flours, and at the same time it's highly related with the quality of the cookie industry, of the cookies that are being produced. The work that was done was really exhaustive, and INTA led back in the 60s in terms of wheat, and we need to recover that. Now we have all the genetic mapping of wheat, and we have huge opportunities to improve production, final end products, whether it's cookies or pasta, and how that impacts in that PhD thesis the conditions, the climate conditions and space conditions in terms of the soil, the latitude, how that is impacting on an yearly basis what is being produced when we consider the end product, whether they are cookies or pasta. That represents a huge opportunity. We have to work on what was proposed by an engineer from the agricultural engineering school in the UBA, he mentioned the great opportunity that he describes when we have to work on the origin and typify the products in order to differentiate ourselves from the international market. This is a long-term plan. The sector has to be prepared and get prepared for these opportunities in terms of transportation and private property. That shows very clearly how everything changes from the seeding to the harvesting to the shelves. Now Mirage says, okay, we have to start thinking about our skills and use the new technologies such as blockchain in order to set the value of contracts and how this product goes from one hand into the next, adding value in each step. In terms of mills and how they add value in that second processing, there are two technologies that we globally talk about, which are the nanotechnologies. Nanotechnologies these days have made huge advances. The encapsulation of nanoparticles or nanoelements that may enrich our flowers when we when we mix the wheat flour with other flours, we enrich it, and the specific genetic production of new microorganisms for the yeast that is used for the production of flour. There is a lot of knowledge that we are really not profiting from, and I think this is the opportunity for both production instances and added value instance have to take into their own hands. We have mapped all this in our ministry, and we are offering the scientific space so that this type of developments start contributing to the economy of the sector. That's it from my part.